All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever had to fight for a training budget, you know the drill. You see this incredible potential, but up on the leadership floor, all they see is another expense. Today, we're going to tear down that wall. We're going to build a business case for remote training that's so compelling, they just can't say no. You know, it all boils down to this one question, doesn't it? Is training just a cost you try to keep as low as possible? Or is it one of the most powerful engines you have for growing the entire business? The way you answer this, and more importantly, the proof you bring to the table, is what decides if your training program gets the green light or gets slashed. Let's kick things off with a number that should make anybody pay attention: 415%. That is the annual ROI that some studies have found for training programs for first-time managers. We're not talking about a tiny bump here. We are literally talking about getting more than $4 back for every single dollar you put in. That's a game changer. And if you want a classic, hard-hitting example, look at Motorola. They did the math and famously figured out that for every $1 they spent on training their employees, they got back an incredible $33. Seriously, $33. And that came from huge jumps in productivity and quality. This isn't just a feel-good idea, it is a rock-solid financial strategy. So how do we make this case effectively? Well, we have to speak the right language. And in the world of leadership and finance, that language is return on investment, ROI. This is your key. It's how you completely shift the conversation from training is an expense to training is one of the smartest investments we can make.
Now, this formula might look a little, mathy, but it is so simple and so powerful. All you do is take the net benefits, so the money you made or saved because of the training, and you divide it by what the training cost. Then times 100 to get that nice percentage. So say you spent 10 grand on a sales training program, and it led to a $50,000 boost in sales. Boom, your ROI is 400%. This is the exact formula you use to answer that all-important question, what are we getting for our money?
Okay, let's break down what we mean by benefits, because there are two kinds. On one side, you've got the tangible stuff, the things you can easily count. More sales, fewer mistakes, people sticking around longer. But then you've got the intangible benefits. Things like better morale, smoother collaboration, happier customers. And please do not sleep on these. They might be harder to measure, but they are absolutely crucial. And they're usually what leads directly to those hard and fast, tangible results down the line. So, we've established that training in general can have a fantastic ROI. But here's the kicker. Remote training has its own unique advantages that can make that return on investment even more massive. Let's look at what makes it such a financially savvy choice. First off, the obvious one. You completely cut out huge costs like flights, hotels, and renting out conference rooms. Huge savings right there. Second, and this is big, employees spend about 40 to 60% less time away from their actual jobs to learn the same stuff. Third, you can scale it like crazy. Training 1,000 people costs basically the same as training 10. Plus, you're no longer limited by geography. You can bring in the best experts in the world. And finally, you get all this amazing data to track what's working and prove its effectiveness. And if you want a real-world example of just how massive those savings can be, just look at IBM. By shifting a huge part of their training to e-learning, they saved around $200 million in a single year. Now that is a number that will make any executive lean in a little closer. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why. Why ROI is your secret weapon. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts, the how. Because it's not enough to just talk about potential ROI. You have to be able to measure it, track it, and prove it. This is where you build your fortress of evidence. So what do you actually track? You've got to look at the metrics that the business already cares about. Did sales numbers go up post-training? Is the team more productive? Did your employee turnover rate go down? Are your new hires getting up to speed faster than they used to? Are your customer satisfaction scores improving? These are the real-world connections you can draw, linking your training directly to the company's bottom line. Let's just take turnover for a second. It is crazy expensive to replace a good employee. We're talking 6 to 9 months of their salary, easily. And this visual says it all. You invest in your people through training, they feel valued, they learn new skills, and they stay. That lower bar on the right isn't just a nice-looking chart. For a big company, that represents millions of dollars saved in recruiting and onboarding costs.
And the great news is you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. There are proven, industry-standard frameworks you can use. You've got Kirkpatrick's 4 levels, which is fantastic for measuring effectiveness at every stage. And you've got the Phillips ROI model, which actually adds a 5th level to Kirkpatrick's specifically to calculate that financial ROI. Using these frameworks shows leadership that you're being rigorous and professional, that this isn't just some number you pulled out of thin air.
All right, you've got the data, you've done the math, you've used the frameworks. Now it's showtime. It's time to put it all together and make that winning pitch. And this part is all about strategy and communication.
Here's your playbook. Number 1, don't just talk about training, talk about how this training program directly supports the company's biggest strategic goals for the year. 2, speak their language. Don't get lost in learning jargon, talk about ROI, KPIs, and profit. 3, and this is a great one, flip the script. Highlight the enormous cost of not training. And finally, back it all up with case studies and benchmarks. Show them this isn't a risk, it's a proven path to success.
This quote just sums it all up perfectly. This isn't about a perk or a nice to have. We're talking about potentially the single smartest place a company can put its money. When you frame it like that, it's not a budget request anymore. It's a strategic opportunity they can't afford to miss.
So, to really drive this home, let's wrap up with a few more of those powerhouse real-world examples. Because let's be honest, nothing convinces a skeptic quite like seeing the incredible results that other successful companies have already achieved.
We've mentioned a couple of these, but just look at them all together. You've got Motorola's insane 33-to-1 return, IBM saving a cool $200 million, and look at Accenture. They got a 20% performance boost and a 17% drop in turnover. These are not small incremental wins. This is clear evidence that the right training can fundamentally transform a business.
So really, the final question isn't for me, it's for you. All of that potential is just sitting there, right now, inside your team. With the right training and by making the right business case, you can be the one to unlock all that incredible value. So the only question left is, what's your ROI going to be?